Yes, don't worry, don't worry. They could try to cut it. They could try to do what they want. You ain't miss nothing because one thing the douglAR could do, rewind. Let's go. Good evening and welcome to douglAR Politics. When you see those national swimmers training, preparing for Bahamas, despite lack of resources across the board in sport, our hockey boys went and beat Canada despite not being able to train, not having gene pair. Woodbrook Youth Facility closed down to them. They had to train for indoors, outdoors on the barracks by the AstroTurf that Gary Griffith built outside there. Our national swimmers working hard, reaching on time, punctuality, discipline, putting their best foot forward. All of us could be proud of all our national athletes, and you can be guaranteed that when Kamala becomes Prime Minister, sport will be returned to a position of respect because we love sport. Sport is the future. Creates children and citizens who respect the laws, who provide, who are disciplined, who work hard, who are productive. That's the beauty of sport. And PNM disrespects sport. Again, letter to the editor. Plight of Merry Boys Cricket Club, Lennox Serju Singh. The story of the plight of one of our cricket clubs, Merry Boys, as reported recently, is in a word disturbing. Of course, we may add untenable, unjust, and reeking of even the unthinkable. Noel Garcia and Rowley built up a whole stadium and lock it down from the people of Bagatelle, lock it out of Merry Boys. They put cars to park for stick fight. They're trying to cut it, keep it fighting. We ain't going down. They say now that Merry Boys they had to cancel all their reserve matches. The ground is now for a warm-up ground for T20 World Cup later, so no matches could be played there. Merry Boys had to travel and spend a set of money that the government not supporting them with to go and practice for their first division matches. But do you know, Noel Garcia, Rowley's big hug-up man, Rowley's man from since Las Alturas, Rowley's boy from since he was Minister of Housing from December 2003 to 2007, where 1.8 billion of projects went to waste. This no-teeth, ugly Noel Garcia, and Rowley don't move nowhere with him. I see this man coming out of Alice Glen Massey stores in 2016, when there was now changing from brown paper bag and thing, with one big bag. I said, but where this Noel Garcia get this big bag when I look so? I didn't have on my glasses, but I swear I see Rowley name on the back. But I ain't know it had grocery, me I know it had money, it was grocery. It had rice and pork and things, but I don't know if he was carrying that for Rowley. But this one, Las Alturas Commission of Inquiry, Greenvale, or Edinburgh Towers, Harmony Hall, all over the place with Rowley. Now, he does build everything. Anything you see a spade digging with Rowley, you go see no teeth close by. Do you know Skinner Park? That he went, look, no teeth in the back there. That is a building for 144 million for social development. Watch him in the back there, right? Social development. So poor people all over the country, they can't get food card, they cut in grant, they cut in special needs grant, they cut in autistic grant, they want to cut down pension, they want a property tax on top of pensioners. But them going and build with no teeth Noel Garcia, $144 million building, and they build a health building to administer the chaos of the hospital, rat in the hospital, no medicine, hospital flooding. Nurses can't get their uniform grant, their shoe grant. During COVID, nurses and doctors had to spend their own money when they're inside in health centers for 3 weeks at a time and so on. That is PNM for you. But do you know Noel Garcia built Skinner Park refurbishment? Take it from a FIFA-approved World Cup qualifying venue to a small fet match under 8, under 15, where you can't play no international football. But you know what's even worse? They had sudden games last weekend in Skinner Park. And don't laugh, because it's really not funny, but I'm sure you might laugh. They could not run a 100-meter race because they didn't have enough distance. They had to run an 80-meter race in 2024. Stop laughing. I am not joking. Because of this Noel Garcia, big ugly dunce that Rowley hug up, and he spent everything. And if I was, let me tell you something, if I was a PNM, boy, I would have been cussing in French. in Spanish, all kind of thing. So you mean that in the whole PNM, it don't have people who could manage portfolios, who could project manage, who are finance-oriented, tender-oriented, have skills in implementation of projects and construction? How come this noted, ugly clown in charge of building airport, police station, fire station, Red House, Magnificent 7 refurbishment, President's House, Prime Minister residence in Tobago, hospital, health center, Central Block in Port of Spain, every sports stadium, Diego Martin, they come in on the next phase, swimming pool, community center, and every house in Trinidad and Tobago, all your PNM have no shame. So none of all you ain't good enough to manage some houses, to manage the building of a building, to manage a community center, fire station, a police station, to make sure that implementation. How come is that? And to all of y'all, when Rowley say, UNC thief, 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 all you ask Rowley, how come one man spending all that money? Y'all don't find that's a red flag? What is easier to be corrupt? One human being spending all that money? Or as Kamala had it, one person on one board, one chairman for one board, one CEO for one company, different companies doing different projects. UDCOT may do some project, sport companies, stadium, community development could build their thing, health could do their thing. That's the way it was. Rowley said he took umbrage took the actions of Calder Hart, but Noel Garcia worse than Calder Hart. And Coleman, but have your own other side of Calder Hart. One man that he was driving in van with, in charge of the Home Mortgage Bank, the NIB, the TTMF. That's great corporate governance, and PNM just call other people thieves. But somehow, PNM spend more money than everybody. $500 billion in 8.5 years. And nothing works. I dare all your PNM, go on the chat, go on the live, and tell me something in this country that does work. The water going good, electricity going good, the road smooth, the bridge good, agricultural production up, inflation down, job creation, energy sector, education, SEA children doing exceptionally well, Cape. No, every single thing is failing under the PNM, but them spend more money than everybody else. All the grants down, food card down, school feeding down, sport funding down, culture down, no soccer monarch. But Rowley say everybody else thief. Everybody else, Kamala, UNC, but they had one person on one board, no family members on board. But all the people who is his neighbor in Inez Gate in Tobago, running all the money. You have Newman George and the Speaker, Bridget Anisette George in Inez Gate. You have Gilbert Peterson in Inez Gate. You have Alvin Hilaire, the Central Bank Governor in Inez Gate. You have Ingrid Lashley on 9 boards on Inez Gate. Gilbert Peterson is Senior Counsel and Bunkerer in Inez Gate. PNM in Inez Gate. Warner Construction, who getting contract all over the place. He built Inez Gate. Rowley get up a townhouse in Inez Gate for $468,000 discount. And the Integrity Commission said, that's okay. He's a prime minister. He didn't declare it. He put the wrong value on his form and signed it, which is a breach of the law. And then Rowley say, which one of his ministers corrupt? Rowley, start with you. So Skinner Park, 131 million. Now they can't even run 100 meters. That is the respect PNM have for the South. All the other run are 80 meters. You could qualify for the Olympics in Skinner Park? 80 meters? Look, y'all turning Trinidad and Tobago into a laughing stock. And the same cheap seats he put in Skinner Park, where you sit down and lean so. Next seat you sit down is lean so. You sit down on the one in the middle, you slide off. That the same cheap, disgusting seats they put in the Hazy Crawford Stadium for $90 million. The same no-teeth, ugly Noel Garcia. And while we talking Noel Garcia, Shamfa, what is this in Tobago? And Shamfa, sewer, tutu water all over the football in Canaan football ground, in Canaan, Bonaccord, Tobago West, This is the Minister of Sport. Look where the children had to play football in tutu water, skate tackling, and coming up with feces in your mouth. This is what Shampa Cudjoe does for the sportsmen and sportswomen, even in Tobago, where she from. And I Tobago West, you know. But anyway, I can't deal with Shampa because really and truly that's unfair. I mean, oh God, the girl, she don't know nothing. She admits she don't know nothing. She is a minister because she walked a half marathon. And when she was 7, when she father owed God a 25 cents change, when she was 7 years old, she played a little tennis. So that's why she qualified to be the PNM Minister of Sport. And everybody from netball to cricket to football to volleyball to titasa to car racing to drag racing to archery to gymnastics to swimming to water polo, everybody suffering. People have to do curricue and barbecue. But I don't have to deal with Shampa because that's unfair. Anil, you must not take advantage of those who are unable to defend themselves. But Vandana, you do it for me. Vandana, you're on the UNC team. Mash up Shampa, Vandana. Go, run
and
it.
You see this obsession the other side has with the opposition leader? Try leaving the opposition leader out of your mouths. What she does is none of your business. Because we sat here in this house all day, Mr. Deputy Speaker. The member for Diego Martin West, who is the Prime Minister of this country, is not in the house. You heard any one of our members speaking about the Prime Minister's absence? Not one of us did that, but you are busy minding the opposition leader's business. And to the member for Tobago West, respectfully. Many times you are not in this chamber, so why are you speaking about the opposition leader? You are busy drinking tea in the tea room. You are absent from here on many occasions. So do not stand when you get an opportunity to speak about the member for Siparia's absence. She's always here. Always here. Right? Always here, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the member for Tobago West wants to tell us...
Members, please. Please, proceed.
The member for Tobago West want to tell us about our caucus. We don't mind PNM business on the caucus. Stay out our business. You don't tell us how to caucus and whose face is new and whose face isn't new, because we do not want to speak about your face.
Vandana, I'll leave it that for you. I had nothing to say about Shampa again. I wipe my hands on Shampa. Let me give you an insight to how disgusting PNM, low character, wicked, cowardly, bullies with power. I've told you all over and over. But today is the worst example of that. The country is now getting the news that the Cuban boy who brings smiles on our faces, who loves Trinidad and Tobago, has been here for 8 years, having family, working hard. He has now everything has put in place to deport the Cuban boy from Trinidad and Tobago. A document signed by Fitzgerald, Ethelbert, narcolepsy, sativa, ride a horse with an 8-year-old in his lap, Hines. Look at it here. Look at it. People getting murdered in his constituency, in the constituency of Stuart Smallpin Young, who outside meeting with CEOs and cutting deal. And they can't show their face. Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines cannot even protect his own auntie in the harp. 5 innocent men killed in the harp. Over 126 murders, robberies, home invasion, man stopping to put gas and the car gone. Over 150,000 illegal migrants came over in the last 4 years from Venezuela because of the imposition of tyrannical policies and starvation by Nicolas Maduro, Rowley best friend with Delcy and Smallpin. But yet, because the Cuban boy sensible and don't like stupidity, and he's make fun of Rowley and Fitzgerald at Albert Hines and the PNM. They take their mighty, powerful positions that you give them, you know, representing Trinidad and Tobago, to bully a fella, a father who working hard to take care of his wife and family. That's PNM. I hope all of y'all who vote are proud of those warriors that you get, those soldiers like Fitzgerald at Albert Hines and Keith Christopher golfing, idiotic, dotish Mama Pool, Hornerman Rowley. That's what y'all vote for. Think about how insipid, how immature, how puerile, how vindictive, how wicked you have to be in the face of the worst crime scourge, with people crying out for safety. Women being raped and battered, murdered, blood all over the streets, bullet AR-15. You take your time to stay awake, to sign and deport a man who here 8 years, who loved Trinidad and Tobago, who working hard and productive. You see, some of y'all might say, well, he illegal. I don't know, but he had 8 years. But the amount of illegal it have, you was legitimizing illegal 16,000, you say, when there's 150,000. In Cedros have a whole Venezuelan community. If you're in Cedros and you can't talk Spanish, you mightn't know where you're going. And you go and you pick on one fella to deport him, take him away from his wife and child. Because if a child born here, can't deport the child, but he's a breadwinner. That's PNM. That's bullying. That's cowardice. That's the vindictive, nasty, cowardly way of the PNM. Think about that. You vote. How could you vote for it? Do you know when you vote for something, you choose that? So if you had two doubles, one red and rotten, and it still leave out in the open air for a week and fly and maggots in it, and you have one fresh, crispy, clean, just come off the fire, doubles, light and thin and chana with some nice pepper and thing in this hand, and you vote for this one, something wrong with you. When you vote for PNM, you vote for a rotten, stale doubles that out 10 days in the sunshine and the rain and the breeze and the kobo and the fly. That's how disgusting. PNM cannot even stand up as human beings. How could you do this? Okay, Fitzgerald Ray, all go and celebrate. Go in Balizé house, drink some scotch and knock some glass, do a little dance, pop a little sativa and celebrate. Yes, man, you showed that Cuban boy. You bury him, man. You showed him your power, your strength, your authority. And Fitzgerald, Ethelbert, Pomsitain, Sativa, narcolepsy, dotish, carve, stay awake, ride a horse and wind up on a little boy on a horse. Hines, you're flipping Mama Pool. But we are to blame. Citizens who vote for PNM, you're are to blame. Because you choose that. You choose sufferation. You choose oppression. You choose crime. You choose joblessness. You choose no water. You choose bad road. You choose property tax. You choose badly when you vote PNM. Well, Cuban boy, I telling you, I done talk to Kamala. And if they send you out and pelt you out, you just go and fill out all your papers. Do the right thing. Do the legitimate legal thing. Because when Kamala win, you will come back in legitimately to take care of your children. Because Kamala is not about oppression. The PNM have Venezuelan migrants, some fellas that Maduro open up the jail and send them across here, robbing people on the bus route, robbing an entire PTSD bus. Venezuelan who can't talk English have gun and knife, robbing people on the bus route. But Fitzgerald, Ethelbert, narcolepsy, Hines and Rowley gone to victimize the Cuban boy who loved Trinidad and Tobago. That's who you all vote for. A vote is a choice. Or you choose to vote for feces when you vote for PNM. You choose to vote for duns. You choose to vote for heartlessness. Don't worry, Cuban boy. Kamala coming just now, my brother. You try and go Guyana, Ufanali and them get a work hard, and everything, do your paperwork. Don't worry. The PNM time is nearly over. The PNM suffering poor people. On top of that, PNM going to tax farmers in Namdevco market. The toilet air working, the water air working, flies and disinfectant. Check PNM. Going to charge poor people, increase their rent daily by 100%. But when that blasts on social media, you have to know election in the air, because PNM pull it back. They pull it back because they want to lie to you and mama guy you so that you could make the mistake and choose PNM, choose wrong, choose oppression, choose vindictiveness. When you could punish farmers who's supposed to feed your nation and feed your children, you know that you really are a sick government. But they had to pull it back though. So well done, people. The only thing you're waiting to do, Ma, 82 years old in St. Joseph, show me this is what we have to do to the PNM. Use this. All you wake up and come out. Namdevco suspends fees. Unprecedented hike in produce coming. In the Agricultural Society says consumers across TNT will have to brace for severe hikes in the cost of local produce in the coming months, as a mix of worrying challenges including widespread predial larceny. Predial larceny mean man thieving out thing, thieving out farmers' products, thieving out animal, thieving out all sorts of crops. But Fitzgerald Hines going to catch the Cuban boy, but he can't catch the goat thief, or the chicken thief, or the pimento thief. Contrary to the usual expectation of lower prices during the dry season fueled by a glut, more pressure in all your skin. And on top of that, take your 4% disrespect from the PNM. You choose that. You all who vote PNM choose disrespect. Kamala give 14%. Kamala give back pay twice. Kamala give respect. Kamala give laptop. Kamala give money for you. Kamala have deficit spending to give you 42,000 food card instead of 18,000. Kamala build 106 schools. Kamala give 140 million per year to sport for you in the communities, for you in the national teams, for you as coaches, you in the football, you in the cricket. That was Kamala. Some of all you go on, watch that and vote for pain. How you could vote for pain? How you could choose suffering? How you could choose criminality? How you could choose corruption? How you could choose recusals? Can't. Look at the country. Every time a different government comes and starts to move Trinidad and Tobago along the continuum of diversification, in comes the PNM on gerrymandering and EBC control and cheating and lies and thwarts and shrinks any opportunity. And then all we left with is oil and gas, and this Rowley government with small pin, the worst energy minister in history, has even decimated something that if they left it on their own will produce money. Them decimated the energy sector in every level. But look at PNM boasting. Watch Randall Mitchell for tourism. Today, Destination Trinidad welcome 570 passengers. That is a cruise ship or a boat. But while Randall Mitchell of the PNM boasting about that, show them what happened in Antigua the day before. In one day, you know, run the video. Now that little boat, a ferry coming in Port of Spain, and out of the 570 passengers that reach, about 12 get robbed on the douglAR. By the time they reach Charlotte Street, they grab the chain and rob them. Watch Antigua, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 ships averaging 3,000 passengers per ship, you know. And one of them, they had 6,000 on it, that big one. That one day in Antigua, but the PNM boasting about a 570. Oh Lord! Here now. And then they come in the Senate. They come in the Senate to say we want to borrow more money. We need more money. Never mind we waste out 500 billion money of your money, taxpayer money. We want to tax people. We want more. We want more money. And they come in the Parliament and they tell lie after lie. And the 6 UNC senators destroyed the PNM yesterday in the Senate, starting with Wade Mark by Jerlene John, David Nakit, Jayanti, Tim Gopi Singh, mash them up and destroy. Show the people a little thing from the Senate yesterday. The PNM want to borrow to thief. Run it. You're reducing. Then what's the next thing you do? Lower the public service debt, the wage bill. So they put a freeze on contracts. They send home 300 IT workers from the Ministry of Education. They send home 400 that the Honorable Minister Tim Gopi Singh had as Minister of Education, social workers and guidance counselors across the board in the public sector. They didn't leave. They left just the ones on the establishment. But all the contract workers, they cut by 200% going away. Cut the wage bill. Then they also said, 8 years we didn't negotiate any labor deal with you all. Here you get 0001, 01001, like a binary unit from a maths class in Standard 4 in UE Primary School, this Minister of Finance, and tell the people take 4%. 4%, and then he comes here today with statistics that only a PNM could believe. I hear the PNM boasting that we are at 3%, 3.1% unemployment. Do you know what that equates to? Full employment level of unemployment. That means jobs. Anybody who wants a job, I can get a degree, you can get a job. Everybody aspires to that. So when we see 6,000 young people applying to work in a prison work is not an easy work. The prison is not a nice place. Not only if you get locked up, but to work there, no air condition, no ventilation, buckets of feces all over, danger, stabbings, fighting, overcrowded. But to see our children so desperate for work that they rush down there and the thousands with a resume, but we at full employment level of employment. The SAPA children were climbing over banister like the PNM former Minister of Finance to get work on a cruise ship when they announced that we could get something. Over 9,000 young people with their resumes rushing for a Carnival Cruise Line job, which is nothing wrong with hard work, but that is real hard work. But I thought we have it nice. Full employment. I don't know where they get the statistics, but they repeat their nonsense that is illogical, untrue, and they believe it. But the people outside here, the people outside know it, feel it. Children cannot get any jobs out there. Right now we're suffering from brain injury. 90% of our intelligent children who go abroad to study are not coming back. Because of the PNM, they're running children. And when they finish borrow, and the Minister of Finance say, well, we're borrowing this just to increase the limit. We cannot appropriate that money because we already had the budget and so on, and we can only appropriate what we put in the budget. And then when he finished saying that, the Minister of Works and Transport say, yes, when he borrowed that 10 billion, I want to build this road and that road and this landslide and that. I want to dig out the river mouths and so on. And I want to build drain here and highway and fix bridge. But also they want to build house because the election come in. And on top of controlling the EBC with full Narcissus scope, the best friend of Gadsby Dolly, who is intimately loving and caring and heart palpitates for Rowley and Foster Cummins at the same time. Look at this lady. This is full Narcissus scope with her best friend from St. Augustine Girls High School, that Guyana Gadsby Dolly, a PNM. Leave it up there, let the people understand that is the woman in charge of refereeing an election. And all of you people there say that's okay. That is her best friend. She best friend is in the race for the red team. You think she's going to be fair and try to help the UNC or provide us with a free and fair election? She's also the niece of a former sitting minister of the PNM, Maxi Coffey. That's who's in charge of the EBC. That's who sets up the election. That's who chooses returning officers. That's who decides different queries and so on. That's what the PNM doing. Now what else they doing? No Teeth, Noel Garcia going to build 100 new homes. They rushing to build where? In Cora. In which constituency? Marginal constituency of Tunapuna. Watch it there. And they say, look all of them skin in the plate, right? That was also, look, Noel Garcia Day, that down in Lavanti Day now, they go, Rowley say you're going to build a golf course for all in Lavanti. Maybe when you hit the ball, you could hope the ball don't get blasted by bullet. Work on new Port of Spain multi-story car park to start in May. So they get in the slush fund now and Balize House go start to go up. But Munilal and Jolene say they will turn Balize House into an area and a hospice for the homeless because they're building car park. Nobody here park no car in the South car park. They have to beg people to utilize it for Christmas by telling them they go get free shuttle. The car park in Port of Spain, my first ex-wife gone up there and stick in the elevator for 15 minutes. But tell she good what you're going in PNM car park for. You understand? You should have tell me come or let my big children drop you down there and pick you back up. But I Noel Garcia and Rowley. Look, Noel Garcia there again. But you know what? When one man billing and to all them contractors, Kusal, Junior Sami, Calco, Earth Movers, all of who I saw with my own eyes dropping material, when my daughter practicing tennis by Tranquility Court by Balize House, all of y'all who are in receipt of government contracts and giving donations to the party that is in government, that is corrupt, that is kickback. So all you better have all your bills. The General Council better have the check and the check stub of where they pay, how they pay, since it was raffle and donation from minister's salary and councillor's salary. They better have it, because when Kamla come, that entire Balize House will be forensically audited and investigated. So all your big contractor go run and send thing, all you forget land data. Just because the police refused to investigate again, don't mean land date did not occur, you know. But anyway, I talked about that yesterday in the Senate, Balize House, and like it bothered them, PNM boy, run it. And borrow for what? The Minister of Works and Transport had the audacity to talk about the mosquito crack. And nothing happened with the mosquito crack. He spent 233 million and the mosquito crack opened up wide and nearly swallow up car and truck together. Up to now it's not fixed. But they come in to talk about the UNC and the UNC. Right? They come in to build, they're talking about investment and from what they want. What does the Minister of Works and Transport said borrowing is not bad? That's true, borrowing is not bad. But PNM borrowing is bad. Because when PNM borrow, they build a Skinner Park and turn it from a football international field into a small sweat. They fix up the stadium for $90 million, and when you sit down on the chair, if you don't tilt left, you have to look so to see if the goal correct or if it's lopsided. They spend $185 million in Diego Martin for a road that only 8 cars is used per day. And all it does is enable you, if you're in Diego, you could go Westmall to shop quick. But if you're dying a heart attack, you still have to go quite Mukurapo and come back to go West Shore. That's what the PNM does. 185 million of wasted. They built car park in San Fernando, 144 million. Not a car in park. They have to advertise to encourage people to park during Christmas, to tell them they go get an air-conditioned shuttle if they park there. They want to build our next park in Port of Spain. The two that they have empty and are cockroach. My first ex-wife gets stuck in the elevator for 16 minutes last week in that end. What tell you where you went and park in PNM thing for? Shouldn't have parked there, right? They come now, they build a $148 million office. Beautiful around the savannah. Gorgeous building. To administer the health sector where people, when it rain, you have the orderly lifting up the nurse while he pushing a wheelchair. It's a rat running down in Mount Hope Hospital. There are no Panadol. But one thing though, to administer the no Panadol, the office nice if you see it, oh gosh, you could go and take picture. That's P&M spending. So borrowing to waste money, borrowing to give contractors who are friendly, so Balize House could continue to go up miraculously by selling raffle tickets. That one has hurt you, President.
That one has gone across the line of imputing improper motives. So we don't do that. Again, just be careful.
To know that, you see, if I have a car coach or anything anymore, I want to be a raffle entrepreneur. That's all. I'm gonna sell raffle tickets. That's lucrative.
I'll stand up to you.
Yeah. And now, as we go back up, they're building house in Kora, in Tunapuna. They're rushing to build house all over. You want to know why? Because this is how corrupt the PNM is. Before the local government election in July last year, PNM Noel Garcia in charge of building every house. They rush and they give human beings housing, excitement, across the board. Since 2010 to 2015, housing. But Munilal and Jolene John were building 6,000 houses per year, handing out 100 keys per week, per day, coming up down, per week, going down the line. People, families, there were 150,000 applicants with a HDC reference number. Now it's up to 194,000 because the PNM had built no house and they're scrambling now to build house. But before the local government election, look what Rowley and Noel Garcia did, giving human beings keys, knowing full well the houses were incomplete. They had no electricity. They could not live there. And when the election done, they take back the keys. All you feel alliant, all you say, nah. No human being could be so insipid, so disgusting, so nasty, so wicked and deceitful to do human beings that, to hand them a dream of a shelter and a future in a house when it was not finished and not ready, and take back the key. Run it and see.
The 14th of July, we were asked to come in to view the houses, our houses in detail. And we accepted the house with the knowledge that it wasn't electrified. But AGC told us that we would get the supply of electricity within a 2-week period. So we accepted.
On July 18th, 2023, Ms. Brumble and well over 100 other people received the keys to their new HDC homes in Cashew Gardens North. But it was all to be short-lived as the HDC requested the keys back mere days afterwards.
Why was this? Is it that it was an election ploy? Is it because we got it in July and election was August? Is it that we getting the keys for the house for local election and we get the electricity for general election? What really taking place?
Ms. Brumble says after much agitation, the keys were returned to her on August 25th.
We had nowhere to place our household items. Hence the reason we were so adamant that we had to get the keys to put our items somewhere. We placed them in this home and we were kind of begging and lodging by a friend kind of thing because no one was giving us a rental agreement for a short-term notice. Because I kept saying, okay, if I could guarantee for a 6 months or 3 months, nobody is allowing that. The shortest period I would get is 1 year. And she's telling me, next 2 weeks, you're going to get the electricity. You know, so we had no choice but to come here in October of last year.
And so, for the last 5 months, Ms. Brumble and her family have been in the dark, figuratively.
AGC saying it's TNTech saying it's AGC. I cannot tit for tat back and forth with them.
And literally.
To have
That is PNM. That is disgusting. That is nastiness. Because it's an election. And now they're going to borrow $10 billion because election in the air. Take whatever they give you and vote them out. Go in the booth and vote with a vengeance. Let them lose constituencies that they feel belong to them. Let them understand that politicians need to live up to their word and need to do what's right and serve the people. If you just give people your vote, they may go study you, Rowley studying you, look up in the heart of PNM. Riddle bullets that children, good thing the children somehow were not out there playing because normally in the app, Children is playing, riding, playing football, a little cricket going on right through. Gunmen swing and just kill men. It was no other gunmen they killing, no innocent fellas. Where Rowley, where Smallpin, where Fitzgerald at Talbot Hines. But they come to mamaga you and you all go and dip your finger for that. And then they ignore you and what you say is beg them and let them throw crumbs by you. What kind of human being will give a family with children and so on a key? Yes, see, they give up the rental, they break the lease, excited. And 6 months of torture in the darkness. I'm going to read something for you and I'm going to ask you all something. Because the choice is very simple. In Trinidad and Tobago in the next election, it is Keith Christopher Rowley versus Kamla Persad-Bissessar for Prime Minister. I want you all to think now for the last 8.5 years. Think about, if you remember, Keith Rowley as Prime Minister, helping any individual just like that out of the goodness out of his heart. Because down in Carnage, down there, they didn't see he in the constituency office for 8 years. And they didn't see him before that, even though he's the MP since 1991. But I want you to think carefully, because on page 22 of the Express, here was saying, page 22 of the Express, Wednesday, 20th March. Helped by opposition leader at anti-crime talks, legal aid for woman seeking justice for son. A mother who went to the opposition leader's anti-crime talk, pleading for help in a case involving alleged police abuse of a 19-year-old son, has praised Kamla Persad-Bissessar for offering help. On March 4th, Candace St. Edwards attended the public meeting in Sangre Grande. She bared her pain, saying that St. Edwards claimed there was a point where her son was on the ground surrounded by 15 police officers who were kicking him and beating him like a dog. She further made appeals to the Prime Minister and the National Security Minister via social media, tried to get meetings with them. No one in authority heard her cries except Kamla Persad-Bissessar, who is not in authority, because in Westminster system, opposition had no power to do nothing. However, when I went to the meeting, I didn't think I would get help. I went to talk to this woman, Persad-Bissessar. She literally came down to my level as a mother, and she understood what I was saying. She cared, and for that I am truly grateful. She told Express yesterday. Now Express only heard this yesterday. This happened about 2 weeks ago. In a TikTok video, St. Edwards said, "Today was our first hearing at the Sangre Grande Magistrates Court, and we were properly well represented by the attorney that Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar sent to represent us. On behalf of myself, my son, the other 2 young men and their parents, we want to say thank you very much, ma'am, for your assistance, for caring about us when nobody else cared." She said Persad-Bissessar's kindness and assistance had given hope to the community of Northeast Settlement, Sangre Grande. Page 22 of the Express. But in the newspapers today, Rowley saying the SSA that he in charge of is criminal takeover. And somehow the media says, that's all right, okay, Rowley, try to fix it. But when Kamla Persad-Bissessar, which she does all the time, this is normal, but I'm just showing you how disgusting the mass media is. And that's why Express circulation is down from a high of 76,000 papers a day down to 42,000. That's why Guardian is down from the perennial 18,000 papers per day down to 6,000, and Guardian Media Limited is making a loss of 11.2 with 2.5 months still to go in the fiscal period, heading for 14 million in the red. And that is why the Newsday is down from a high of 49,000 papers per day down to 11,000. because you have become unmasked. This is a story that people need to hear. An opposition leader who has no authority, no resources, nothing, but still had the heart to help people, make a call, get a lawyer, and impact. And by the way, it's not an Indian lady here. I know they're like, because once it's politics, it has to be. This is why this show is douglAR politics. It has no race, because Kamala see no race. It's an African woman with an African son, Trinbagonian. Because this woman don't see race. But them, Rowley and them could not even help the lady, would not even acknowledge. And them in charge, $500 billion, and they can't even help a lady. They don't care. But you all choose that. When you vote for that, you choose that. All you no water, eh? Look at this picture. Closer look, a youngster accompanied by a relative gets closer to the water fountain at the National Academy. It's dry. But Rowley Golf Course in Canada and Tobago, they could use the sprinkler. Wassa could power wash. Marvelous, Marvin. How Cliff Eli going? You all went on measure any more inseam slowly to get more suit. Marvelous, Marvin. Boy? Dry taps for thousands in North. Kernahan Trace still waiting for pipe-borne supplies since protests. Watch this video. Run it. Watch this clown, this idiot. Watch. QREP. That not river, you know. That water, you know. That potable water. What's this? This right next to Rowley office, eh? This right next to Keith Christopher Rowley office, the constituency office by Laoketa. Right? They have a next one. Doubles and coffee, yes man. We in Rowley constituency. The PNM. Look, Wassa, Minister Marvin, marvelous Marvin. Wassa functioning. Water gushing, Wassa pumping station leaking, potable water spilling all over. Look Rowley office, or look Rowley constituency office that he never goes to. Great is Rowley, eh? Water wasting, marvelous Marvin, Minister of Public Utilities, eh? Water gushing all over, leak after leak. 50% of the potable water in Trinidad and Tobago wasted due to leaks. Let me make sure I'm going 50 kilometers per hour. Eh? PNM boy, all you real good boy. All you is all-rounders. All you can't think, you can't implement, you can't manage. PNM sucks. And then you see why PNM is allowed to hang around in the race? Because mass media, and this is why I'm proud of you all, stop reading this. I'm going to read for you all from an editorial of the Newsday. Now remember, you live in the pain, you live in the torture, you know the reality, right? Let's listen to this thing they call a newspaper, the journalistic integrity of Trinidad and Tobago's mass media that has become the fourth brothel, not the fourth estate. The annual water problem. Wassa CEO Kelvin Romain said last week that the 5 national reservoirs are below the long-term average for this time of year. But his announcement of percentages is unlikely to have any serious effect on the cavalier national attitude to water use. So you see what they do? This news, they start to blame you already. Since 2017 Joint Select Committee, the PNM has said that once they try to pump water to you, they produce 7.2 billion gallons of water per month with chlorine and chemical soda ash and so on. And when they turn it on to pump it to you, they lose, they throw away, they waste through leaks. 50 to 55% of that up to 4.2 billion gallons of pristine potable water per month. But the news, they come and say, we, the citizens, we cavalier. So the PNM not cavalier for wasting $4.2 billion. But if I take a 6-minute shower to soap with my life boy and wash up, I cavalier. If I want to wet my plants, I cavalier. If I want to brush my teeth and rinse and so on, I cavalier. If I want to flush the toilet anytime it utilized, I cavalier. The citizens cavalier. But nothing wrong with the PNM. For 8 years, wasting water that causing damage across the whole country, the infrastructure, the roads, the bridges and so on. Hear them. Have citizens responded to previous calls to reduce water consumption during extended dry periods? No. So they're criticizing you. They won't criticize the PNM. Let me tell you something. If every citizen listen to what WASA tell you to do, don't use the hose. Brush your teeth with a cup. Bathe for 2 minutes. Don't flush the toilet when you do number 1, only when you do number 2. Don't use sprinklers and so on. And don't fill up your pool. If every single citizen did that to perfection, do you know that per week we could save 40 million gallons? That's 160 million gallons per month. WASA wastes 4.2 billion gallons per month. And the news, they come to blame you and me and all the citizens because they can't blame the PNM. Do you find that's journalistic integrity? Do you find that's true? That's an editorial of a newspaper. What abject total nonsense. And they talk about Robert LaHunt and all kind of thing. When you're talking about nonsense, so now PNM they want to tax you with property tax. You know the next way they're taxing all you? Oh Lord, they're changing up all the speed limit and thing. All down they go all over. And they're putting up cameras to charge you $1,000 ticket and give you demerit points. Let me tell you something. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar has said that in her manifesto for the next election, that all these ridiculous laws that are torturing you, the law-abiding citizens that make no sense and are just there to extort money from your pocket for no reason. If you go 55 kilometers down in by Westmall, you get a $1,000 ticket. Road safety is what it's about, not to punish citizens like the PNM. They want to tax you. This is the way of them taxing you. Watch Rohan. Watch Rohan with his nonsense. Run it.
So what we're here to introduce you to this morning is really another step in traffic aviation and road safety, where the ministry have actually focused heavily on using technology to help us with traffic flow, traffic elevation and road safety. So what we have this morning here is introduction to another new system where we actually have the above ground monitoring of the traffic signalized intersections. In the past, on most of our traffic signals, we had underground detect.
Yes, like that's your traffic plan. So you have systems, you move it from underground to change the light to right there. How long that equipment go stay there, Rohan? Thanks for advertising for all the bandit them to see that it's a computer and thing. I go in and pass the next 3 weeks and see how much of your computer thing left there, right, Rohan? In your PNM country where crime is out of hand, where people not safe anywhere. But on top of that, let me tell you something. Look at the wickedness they're doing all over the country, but especially in Diego Martin. And Diego Martin is PNM. Diego Martin is PNM stronghold. Not so, but all you choose that. Don't let me say nothing. That's all you choose that. You look at it. You look at the rotten doubles that outside in the air and fly eating it and laying egg on it for a whole week, and you leave the pristine yellow chana, yellow barra with some nice pepper sauce. You leave that. You choose PNM. Watch what you choose. Doubles and coffee. We are saying that right now the new speed limit is, I'm just under it here in traffic, so I'm trying to get some space, is 50 kilometers per hour on the Cocorit stretch from Mukurapo traffic lights going down. We are now at 50 kilometers per hour. I can tell you, I am at the upper limit of the speed. And look at, I am causing traffic. I am a danger on the road because I am going at 50 kilometers per hour. Look at people flying past me. They say that these lights here are to give people tickets, citizens tickets that go over 50 kilometers per hour. I am at 50 kilometers per hour. Everybody is passing me. I am causing traffic. I am a danger and a hindrance on the road at the speed limit of 50 kilometers per hour. Look at it there. Don't say that I'm lying. I'm going 50 kilometers. It is so difficult to go 50 kilometers. Every single law-abiding safe driver is passing me at 50 kilometers per hour. This has to be total and complete madness on the part of the PNM, the Attorney General, the Police Commissioner, and everybody who is in charge. What are the laws about? It's to keep the roads safe, to get us safely where we're going efficiently. But right now, this madness that has been created in the Western Peninsula, look at it here. You have to drive 50 kilometers per hour. I am driving 50 kilometers per hour, and everybody even going slow, passing me safely. There's a traffic build-up behind me as we come to this ridiculous roundabout created by Rowley, which is squashed up into a little space. But here it is. We must drive 50 kilometers per hour, and they're going to send tickets, $1,000 tickets, to citizens if you dare go above 50 kilometers per hour. I challenge every citizen in the Western Peninsula heading to Goodwood Park, Westmoreland, Carenage, to try and drive at 50. I am driving at 50 and I am a danger to people on the road. This is trying to turn law-abiding citizens into lawbreakers. Any law that does that is an unjust law. It is extortion. It is a tax on the people, and it must be changed. This is madness. The idea is to keep people safe. What accident occurs at 50 kilometers per hour? We are here at the traffic light. Let's see, I just touched my accelerator. Let's get up to the speed limit. We're at 40, and already there 50. So let me make sure not to break it. And I bet you on the left here comes somebody driving very safe. I'm in the fast lane, but I'm causing a delay and an obstruction because I am at the speed limit of 50 kilometers per hour. PNM sucks. Rowley sucks. The PNM Commissioner of Police appointed and extended by Rowley. All you had to be mad. You're extorting money from people. What is the meaning and what is the reason for a speed limit? Not to make money, not to tax people, not to fill the coffers. This has to be changed. All you drive 50 kilometers and you go see traffic jam right through. Bless. And as you all could see, I try to relax and keep it quiet. But many of you all would have seen while I was doing that video, you all saw my engine light on, right? Let me explain to you why. And let me tell Answer Motors, y'all disgusting, disrespectful, discourteous, uncaring company that treats customers, and I went quiet, and them would I know is Anil, eh? Me ain't say nothing. But let me show you why my engine light on, and none of all you be as dotish as me and go and buy a car from Answer Motors, eh? Run it. You know, I see Answer Motors boasting that they get new car, trying to tell people to come and buy car. Well, let me just tell you, I kept this so quiet for so long. Since last year, June, this hose here on the turbo, they got a hole in it and it ripped. The car was under warranty. It's a Ford Everest. Very nice car, works beautifully. But next thing you know, I go on by Answer Motors, and they say they don't have this hose, right? So they kind of tape it up with duct tape and thing. They said it wouldn't affect the engine and so on. Well, all right. I checked some other mechanic. They say it's all right. They just wouldn't have the power and the zip and the acceleration and thing. I wait 5 months because they didn't have this part here. 5 months. different excuses, 7 calls. Eventually they say, hey, the hose reach. So they come and they put on this turbo hose, right? But when I turn on my engine and thing, I say, hey, the engine light's still on, something wrong, and so on. They say, well, bring it in and check. They bring it in and take it in and check. The engine light's still on. When I look at this hose, I's not no real car man and thing. I find this hose looking small. Answer put on a small hose for me, like a small pin. When I take it by a real man, a real mechanic, they said this is a wrong hose. They make me wait 5 months and then sneak on a wrong small hose that have the turbo underperforming, engine light on, and Answer Motors now advertising for all you to go and buy more car from them. Not me again, because you see I didn't get on, I didn't carry on, I didn't call, I didn't cost. Well, I called, but I call and behave good. And it's been over 8 months of something so simple and something so dishonest that they will put on a wrong part and send you on your way on an expensive car. So Answer Motors don't advertise nothing. Eh? All your other car companies, foreign use, whoever, when I'm ready for a car, I come in and check all your fire burn Answer Motors, yes? So that is why your boy engine light was on. I try to do things the correct way, quietly. I call 11 times over the last 8 months. You see hose? When they put on the small hose, I say, but the car driving, it's not feeling like itself. It's not accelerating. When I check and I carry it by a mechanic, they say they put on the wrong hose and the turbo not getting as much oxygen to burn and that's why the car dead and so on. I call, I tell them, hey, only put on the wrong hose. I ain't cuss, I ain't carry on. They call back, they ignore. 8.5, 9 months now. So Answer Motors, fire burn you, all you. Let me tell all you how they. If they go treat me so when they know it's the douglAR politics and think about how they go treat you. So go somewhere else, eh? Forget Answer Motors. They say they unveil car, leave them there with all the car. Flipping ridiculous. But when you're talking ridiculous, yesterday in the Senate, after we mash up the PNM, Senator Mark brought a motion on the adjournment to bring some serious issues about pharmaceuticals, pharmaceutical monopolies, prices, unfair treatment, so that people, human beings, could get cheaper medicine to live, to take care of their families and so on. Listen to what the Minister of Health, the convent girl, the one who could not pass a pharmacological exam, the one who is not a doctor, the one who does talk and try to pretend that he's bright, but he's a complete dunce. Imagine this man, convent girl, the member for St. Joseph, who St. Joseph can't see him. When Valsain flood, he brings CPEP crew to clean up his house and pick up his gate that fall down and wet down and flood down all the neighbors. They have a little old people home, 3 houses from convent girl in St. Joseph. Elderly people flood out in wheelchair. He's the Minister of Health. He never even go and ask and see if they want some help. That is Terence Dial Singh, the convent girl. This clown come in the Senate and listen to this fool, what he come to talk about on a serious issue about medication, prices, monopoly, competition, unfair practice. Run it.
One of the items we seized, and we are going to laugh at this one, but it's not a laughing matter, was something called pleasure hammer. You can imagine what pleasure hammer is. But you know, when we look at the vial, and I'm just shocked that the UNC can't see this. Pleasure hammer is a little bottle, a dark liquid bottle. And I must allow pleasure hammer to be sold in pharmacies in Trinidad and Tobago because the day someone dies, you know who's the first person the UNC is going to haul over the coals? Me. We know that. But to hear the UNC laugh about the sale of unregistered pharmaceuticals. When children die, who are you going to come after? Who are you going to come after?
Pleasure hammer? What the hell is pleasure hammer? How he know what is pleasure hammer? He come in the Senate to talk about pleasure hammer, some dark liquid in a bottle. He know very well, just like Rowley going in a prime ministerial press conference to talk to you, the citizens, about horny goat weed. What is going on in the PNM? Erectile dysfunction is contagious in the cabinet? Well, boy, Convent girl, your new name is Pleasure Hammer, boy. Hey, boy, the member of Parliament for St. Joseph, Mr. Pleasure Hammer. And then we see the Ministry of Health, like they're using too much Pleasure Hammer, boy. A Ministry of Health official accused of sexual misconduct. Then buy out all the Pleasure Hammer. And the Helsing, your clothes. Boy, move them now, man. And talking about that in the Parliament, Kamala had to destroy Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines. Imagine the biggest failure in the history of ministerial portfolios, the biggest failure in national security, the biggest failure as an MP, a man who get wet down and soaked down with tutu water, narcoleptic, sativa, sleepyhead, riding a horse and didn't know it wrong to have a 8-year-old boy in your lap while you're whining. Fitzgerald Pomsite Hines. To calling UNC people dotish, but Kamala still have it savvy. Mash him up, run it.
Again, Mr. Deputy Speaker, this dotish
Members,
man.
Please.
What's wrong with this dotish
man? Members, please. We are too early in the session. No, 1 second.
Oh, better description. So what's wrong with this dotish man? Fitzgerald Ethelbert, look at him. He's so stupid. Like his system, his normal nervous system for any real man would have known. Something would have triggered, hey, this is not right. This don't feel right. What am I doing on this horse? This is not my son. This is somebody, boy, child. This is not correct for two male human beings to be in one saddle, one big old hardback, smelly, Pomsite fella with a little boy. This never dawned on him that it was wrong because he's dotish and he's sick. But anyway, Kamala destroy he. And then the PNM in the Senate yesterday, they come to say they're raising the limit so they could go and borrow $10 billion for you to pay back, you know. And they're going to do it on the local market because they get better interest rates here. On the local market, where NCB Global Finance moved under the PNM in September 2015 from zero public sector work, NCB Global Finance, Angus Young, brother of Stuart Smallpin, arrogant, dotish Young, this one moved from zero public sector work to $4.2 billion in 4 years. And they move UDCOT from under the Ministry of Housing to under the Office of the Prime Minister. So they move Noel Garcia from Housing to under Rowley and Smallpin. And Smallpin's brother company that he's the CEO of moved from zero to $4.2 billion in work. And now Imbut, and since then we don't know how much extra. But now Imbut says he'll increase the limit $10 billion more. The PNM under Rowley increased that limit by $45 billion for them to borrow, and nothing works. And then he said we're going to borrow locally. So more money for NCB Global and Angus Young, brother of Stuart Smallpin Young. And always keep in mind when Rowley lied in Parliament, when Munilal asked Rowley why did he move UDCOT from Housing to under the Office of the Prime Minister, Rowley got up and answered and said he had done no such thing. Total lie, because 13 days previously it was gazetted by the President and only the Prime Minister can change portfolio, that Rowley had moved UDCOT and Noel Garcia from under Housing to under him and Smallpin. And who benefit? Smallpin brother. And now they're borrowing $10 billion. They say, no, we're not really, we don't need it, we're not going to use it, we can't appropriate it, we're not spending that, that's for years to come. And then Rohan come and contradict Colm. Run it.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think we need senatorial reform, that when my colleagues on the other side are unprepared to debate, that the time should be given to those of us who require more time to present arguments that are meaningful to the population. Mr. President, well, I am flabbergasted. I had to take off my glasses because I'm in shock. I came here and I listened to the Honorable Minister of Finance debate why he's just asking for an increase in the limit, 10 billion extra loan capacity, debt burden up to 75 billion, but he can't appropriate it because the appropriation has already been made in the budget, and he's not coming here to ask for money to go and spend it, and it is only 500 million. So in order to be able to be comfortable in making decisions, he needs to increase this limit by $10 billion. But the Minister of Works and Transport just spent out all already. So he didn't he didn't discuss with the minister that they're not to spend it, that it can't be appropriated, that it could go on for years. The minister now spent out the 10 billion right here in his contribution. So next time I would say to my colleague, consult with your minister before you open your mouth, because the story jump out. Because all the independent senators, everybody confused now. Because the Minister of Finance said, this cannot be appropriated. It cannot be spent. We're not coming here to borrow 10 billion. That any government coming in the next few years will have the capacity to borrow to do. The Minister of Works spent out on highway, drainage, implementation, airport, port. He spent out all already. So that was a little. So once again, the PNM has been caught lying and caught in their corrupt ways. Do you know a citizen, a Mr. Ronald Harford, former chairman of Republic Financial Holdings Limited, Ronald Harford, during a Chamber of Industry and Commerce town hall meeting, business meeting, he spoke as a citizen and as a man who came up from nothing, worked all his way up and reached very high up in the financial sector. Former chairman Ronald Harford said he called on citizens to remember their crucial role in holding the government accountable. We belong in this damn country, and the politicians are here to serve us. And when we see things going wrong, it is your money that is going wrong. That's your tax money that is being wasted. We must no longer be spectators. We must be citizens and assume the rightful position and responsibilities to guide the country. Mr. Harford added, it's quite remarkable that this is an oil and gas country and we have no plan for oil and gas production. It's the absolute essence of this country that the gas and oil should be produced, but we have no idea. We don't talk about these things. Now, anyone with a modicum of intelligence who has been around would know that what he said there is fair comment. It's absolutely correct. But look at the response of Stuart Smallpin, email gate defender of Rowley, and Mr. PNM. PNM in charge, PNM bigwig, Stuart Smallpin Young. Run it, listen to this clown.
What the country of Trinidad and Tobago faced. Because as I've said time and time again, and I will come to a certain commentator who found himself on a panel in a short while yesterday, speaking from underneath a rock that he should just have stayed under when he was banished from a financial institution that he thought was his personal fiefdom many moons ago. So he better be tuned in to be listening now to understand before he goes and makes these types of statements. Because I put here today on record, as a PNM government that goes globally and engages all over the world, we will not stand for the continuation of colonialism. And those who continue to have colonial blood running through their veins don't come around this government.
Colonialism and colonial blood. For you all who don't know, Mr. Ron Harford is a white Trinbagonian. So here goes Mr. Coward, the small pin who can't choke Asha Javid good enough for she to behave herself. The small pin who is unable to walk and chew gum at the same time. The small pin is throwing racial epithets and racial innuendos at a gentleman, a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, calling him colonial and colonial, something flowing through his blood. So wait, small pin, you are the black man defender. You are the East Indian defender. You are the brown and black defender. You are the cultural roots man. So how come you didn't go down in the harp when they killed the 5 men there in your constituency, right next door to your constituency office? Where you was? Use the black man? Where you play Juve in Borough Kids? Where Lime? You went in Point 14, Borough Day? Stuart Smallpin Young, under the veil of privilege, Now understand how cowardly it is. When I come here, me are no privilege here. This douglAR politics camera open. Anything I say here, I could be sued for anything that I say that is incorrect or defamatory. Do you all understand? So me are no privilege. That man gone in the parliament, that coward, that mama pool, that little clown called Stuart Smallpin Young, and attacks a citizen in the most vile manner because the man made absolute sense. But then, let me tell you all, and I said it yesterday, so don't let me repeat it. I dealt with Stuart Smallpin in the Senate because you all have to understand, this man is the biggest failure in government history. In every portfolio, whether it was Minister of Communication, whether it was Minister of National Security, lifeguards could tell you, fire officers could tell you, no fire tender, nothing going on. National Security, 519 murders, 539 murders, energy sector decimated. Even when he was Minister of everything under Rowley and crossing into the tourism portfolio to try to negotiate for sandals to come in Tobago. When the Minister of Tourism, Shampa, was there, she didn't even know what going on. Randall Mitchell didn't know what going on. And Sandals tell this one, go and scratch. He then moved to energy, and we have no petrotrain. We make a loss at NGC for the first time. Run it. I dealt with it yesterday. Run it.
And let me tell you something. It really is cowardice of the highest order to come in this parliament where it's privilege. You see me? I could debate here, but I could also go outside and say what I have to say, especially if we're in a banter and a political battle in the Gael. But when there's a citizen out there, a gentleman who does not get involved in politics, I know the gentleman, but I know of I've seen over the years pictures in the paper, big thing, business, awards and so on. When a gentleman simply says, listen, it's our taxpayer money, the government must be accountable. And we are energy, gas sector, economy. Show us a plan, show us something. We're just seeing the Ryder Scott report, the horizon going down. We're seeing Point Lisa's capacity down from 74% to 28%, 11 companies shutting down, no steel plant, no refinery. Please show us some sort of plan. The man is attacked in the parliament with the cowardly member using his privilege to attack a citizen out there. That is so cowardly. That is the kind of thing a bully would do. But let me tell you.
Just careful with the adjectives being used to describe another member. Just temper the...
Okay, sir. Thank you. But it's cowardly, to say the least. So Mr. Harford obviously does not need defending. But his comment was fair comment. Where's the energy plan? Trinidad and Tobago has been involved in oil and gas since 1908. We are now at our lowest ebb. Our oil production per day has gone down to 38,000 barrels. It's now at 48,000 barrels per day. The Honorable Minister of Energy downstairs told what can only be considered untruths, that under Kamala Prasad Bissessa and the People's Partnership government, that the oil production per day went down from 98,000 to 78,000 barrels. It was the reverse. When we came in May 2010, it was 78,000 barrels. Kevin Ramnarayan got it up to 98,000 barrels. By the time the PNM came in September 2015, by 2017, due to lack of payment, lack of maintenance, lack of investment, the oil production went down to below 45,000 barrels per day. Then the consequential shutdown of Petrotrail without any advice. The dishonesty that came to say that the board told them to shut it down when the chairman of the board went in the labor court and swore on the Bible that he never told the cabinet to shut it down. The McKinsey report, the Lashley report, the Solomon report never said shut it down. It's been shut down 5 years now, and Trinidad and Tobago, for the first time in 117 years, is not a producer, is not a leader. We have ministers of finance here boasting that our credit rating is higher than St. Vincent and Antigua and Barbados and Bahamas, who have sun, sea, and sand only. Well, I would be ashamed if God blessed me with oil and gas and natural resources, and I have to compare myself to countries who are doing extremely well with what they have. That is the shame and the incompetence of the PNM. So I think they should leave Mr. Harford alone, because the man just talking sense, and more citizens should be brave enough to talk the truth.
And do you know, listen carefully now, citizens, Stuart Smallpin Young, his great plan that he boasts about, that he shatter and attack a citizen, you know what his plan is? That he have conversations. That all the newspapers say, look him here talking, he gone here talking, Reuters say he talk there, look he having conversations here, he negotiating here, look Bloomberg say he negotiate, he talk, he went to Algeria and talk, he talk, not one contract, not one bit of gas, not one MMBTU, not one increase in production, not one refinery, not one job, not one foreign direct investment, not $1. This dotish dunce called Stuart Smallpin Young, run it, listen to him, don't take my word for it.
You see me? I could debate here, but I could also go outside and say what I have to say, especially if we're in a banter and a political.
Run it.
Now might be an appropriate time to refer to an article in today's Express, on page 10 of today's Express, under the business section, where a certain gentleman, an individual, has the gall to say the following. He's not elected, never went up for elections in his life, but former chairman of Republic Financial Holdings Limited. Former. It seems that whenever anybody becomes a former, their mouth gets big. Ron Harford yesterday called on citizens to remember their crucial role in holding the government accountable. And they quote him, "We belong in this damn country, and the politicians, that's all of us, are here to serve us. And when we see things going wrong, it is your money that is going wrong. That's your tax money. What is being wasted? We must no longer be spectators. We must be citizens and assume the rightful position and responsibilities to guide this country," Harford said. He goes on to say, and this is the remarkable part, because you see, we live in a democracy. Everybody is entitled to their view and opinion. They could opine about politicians all they want. Some of it is deserving, some is undeserving. So that is fair comment. By all means, say what you want. If you want to throw your hat in the ring, throw your hat in the ring. Because as chairman, you were removed. You were not elected as chairman, and when it came time to an election, you couldn't get the support to continue. But what happened is he goes on to say, and this is the part where I was astounded, and it just shows me, and I want to caution, when you go out in public to speak and to try and have intellectual and intelligent conversation with the population, especially at a chamber event, do your homework. At least do a little bit of reading. What he goes on to say and is quoted, "It's quite remarkable that this is an oil and gas country and we have no plan for oil and gas production. The absolute essence of this country, that oil and gas should be produced, but we have no idea and we don't talk about those things." Mr. Deputy Speaker, I challenge those on the other side who have the technological capabilities to go now and do a simple search. And they will see it is on Reuters, they will see it on Forbes, they will see it is on all of the leading energy newspapers of today, Bloomberg, etc. Yesterday and day before, I was in Venezuela, along with BP, conducting continued conversations, negotiations on behalf of the people of Trinidad and Tobago for a project now with BP and Venezuela called Coquina Mannequin.
No, I was going to ask you, while this one talking, I didn't put it, I think I made a mistake. See if you have the Galeota PNM Ghost Town video. If you have it, you go get it ready for me, right? I think I forgot it on the script, so that's my fault. But that man, in his arrogant tone, attacking Ron Harford and saying he don't read and he's a dunce. And you know what that small pin Minister of Energy said? He said that he, in Venezuela talking, he with BP talking, he talking about dragon gas, they talking about crossbow. Nothing happened, nothing done, nothing achieved, no gas, no production, no increase. Point Lisa's down from 78% under Kamala Prasad Bissesa to 28%. Atlantic LNG operating at 70%. They take an extra share. Chinese leave that 5% and go on because it bust. This waste $400 million, 233 over 22 months to maintain Atlantic Train 1 when it was dead. They have no refinery. NGC make a loss. Over 17,000 jobs in the energy sector lost. No steel plant. And that clown, Stuart Smallpin Young, is saying there is a great plan. He is carrying out the plan, which is he in Venezuela talking, he in BP talking, he talking in Houston, he talking in Algeria, he talking all over, talking. This man is a complete blithering idiot. But let me show him Galeota under you, Minister of Dotishness, Stuart Smallpin Young. Watch Galeota, a once bustling oil and gas town. Run it. So Stuart Smallpin Young, the only place that has less activity than the energy sector and places like Galeota, the only place that has less activity than there is in your brain, you idiot. But I'm mashing up yesterday. Continue. Listen to the Senate man, and you all must pay attention, because when it comes time to vote, you all have to vote out these complete, arrogant, disrespectful liars. Run it.
And let me tell you something. It really is cowardice of the highest order to come in this parliament where it's privileged. You see me? I could debate here, but I could also go outside and say what I have to say, especially if we're in a banter and a political battle in the Gael. But when there's a citizen out there, a gentleman who does not get involved in politics, I know the gentleman, but I know of his, I've seen over the years, pictures in the paper, big thing, business, awards and so on. When a gentleman simply says, listen, it's our tax. I'm glad that the Minister of Works is not my friend. Because, boy, I'm glad. Because I want my friend to be able to defend me to the hilt with facts, with figures, with information. He tried to defend the Minister of Energy, who is the biggest and most incompetent minister in the history of energy. The energy sector decimated. And his defense was not a defense with a big stick. It was more of a defense with a small pin. He could not say what the energy plan is. The man, Mr. Ron Harford, spoke. He said, I am a businessman. I don't see the energy plan. Do you know what is the energy plan of the Honorable Minister of Energy? He said, look at it on Reuters. Look on Bloomberg. They're talking about, I'm having conversations, I'm over in Venezuela talking, and I'm conversing and I'm speaking. That's a plan? When is the last time talking make money except if you're on a TV show or a radio show? There is no plan. Furthermore, that Minister of Energy, who the Honorable Prime Minister boasted of in 2017, negotiated, according to the Minister of Works and Transport, negotiated gas price in Houston, completed negotiations. Mr. Jerry Brooks, who was the then chairman, had to run and resign because that Minister of Energy, the member for Port of Spain, St. Anne's, went and usurped the authority of those with brain, negotiated a poor deal, and the upstreamers like EOG and BP announced 67% increase in their profitability in a zero-sum game. If they go up, somebody go down. And unfortunately, you know who had to go down? Us, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because we sent people like the Minister of Energy now, who was not the Minister of Energy then. They left the Minister of Energy, the Honorable Franklin Can, home, took that fellow to negotiate, and we make 67% less, and they make 67% more. And the PNM is celebrating that. The shareholders of the upstreamers should be celebrating that. A year and a half after the negotiations, NGC make a loss for the first time in history. Under Kamla Prasad Biswas and Kevin Ramnarine, the NGC was making 2.1 billion US profit. They made a loss in 2019 and 2020 after the negotiation that the Minister of Works is trying to defend the Minister of Energy. But I empathize with these PNM ministers. As I listen to the Minister of Works and Transport trying to defend the Minister of Energy, I listened to the Senator Laura Lizama Leasing quoting a set of old statistics, false nonsense. I could not believe. Yes, but I empathize with them because they all know that when they go to cabinet, they have no say. They all know that they are the haves and the have-nots in the government, and those who get told good morning, and those who policies get through, and those who can move forward. So lots of people who have brain in the PNM, they have to stay quiet because they don't get to travel all over the place. Look, even the Minister of Works and Transport, while defending the Minister of Energy, had to admit that he always outside the country. He always in Venezuela, but we ain't get a cent yet. We ain't get $1 yet. They have an election in July 28th. In Venezuela, but the leader of the opposition is debarred from going after getting 92% of the vote because Maduro say, the Supreme Court, his cousins say she cannot go in. And that's who the PNM is holding there too and holding close. So when that sham election occurs in July 28th, and right now as we speak with Donald Trump, who was christened Tropical Trump by the Prime Minister of the PNM, when Tropical Trump, as our Prime Minister described, Donald Trump may win the presidency on November 5th, 2024, what's the position with Maduro? What's the position with all our eggs in one dragon gas basket, that the dragon cannot dance, that there is no money coming, that the discussion about an energy plan is that the minister is talking. They talk about Atlantic restructuring. Atlantic LNG is operating at 72% of its capacity. We had a percentage in Train 1 where they wasted and flitted away $233 million over a 22-month period to maintain it after the company said it's not going up, we're not using it again. They then maintained it for another 2 years, and we have not heard that bill yet. But then they come to negotiate, a Chinese partner gives up 5%. They go and they negotiate and get the 5% of the Chinese company, and Chinese companies, as far as I know, they look for profit motive like any other company. So for them to leave a 5% of a profitable industry is really ludicrous. So they left it because they know it was dead and dying because the PNM have put all our eggs in one basket. Gas production is low and declining, and we cannot attract investment for a 30-year period in order to create foreign direct investment. For the last 5 years, we've suffered negative foreign direct investment. Poor Minister of Trade and Industry. Negative foreign direct investment means people are taking their money out of Trinidad and Tobago, the beautiful country with land of milk and honey, and looking elsewhere. That is not good, but that is because of PNM, lack of planning and lack of management.
And to those of you now who understand corporate governance, understand the functions of government, red flags in tendering, corruption, the ability to keep the decision makers away from the goods and service providers, those of you who've studied a bit of that, let me ask you all a question. Don't you all find it very strange that this minister, Stuart Small-Pin-Young, is going across the globe as a minister of government, meeting face-to-face with CEOs, goods and service providers across the globe, whether it is for ferries or vessels with Hostal and Incat, BP, Shell, EOG, LG. Don't you all find it strange? And I'm asking you all, is that correct? Is that the correct process? Is that the way that serious governments who adhere to anti-corruption policies, procurement, tendering, and the best practice, is that how it operates? Because I'm going to read for you here an article in the newspaper, and the source of the article is this dum-dum right here, the Minister of Energy of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And he says, I am proud to be here at the round table. At the round table was moderated by Carlos Pascual of S&P Global and tackled the topics of providing and accessing financing. Among the participants in the panel were Commissioner at the African Union, Dr. Amani Abu Zaid, and Commissioner African Union and Deputy Head of the Climate Change Policy Division at the International Monetary Fund, Diego Mesa Puyo. Earlier in the evening, he writing this, he's so stupid, confessing to his inappropriate actions, his inappropriate interventions. This is not a meeting for him. This is a meeting for the CEO of NGC, the permanent secretaries, those people who are there because he is a so-called decision maker and must not be close, must not be able to eat shrimps and drink scotch with those who want to get lucrative contracts, of which he will eventually be a big part and parcel of the cabinet decision. Understand, those who understand red flags of corruption understand what I'm speaking about. Let's see. And while you all are listening to me, please tell me if you hear Minister of Energy of Algeria, or Minister of Energy of Saudi Arabia, or the Minister of Energy of Nigeria, or the Minister of Energy of Ghana, or the Minister of Energy of Tunisia or Saudi Arabia. Tell me if you hear that. Government ministers. Because he said earlier in the evening, I, meaning Stuart Small-Pin-Young, met with Mr. Murray Oceancloss, CEO of BP, Mr. William Lynn, EVP Regions, Corporates and Solutions, and other executives of BP. Discussions surrounded BP's operations in Trinidad and Tobago, the success of restructuring Atlantic, the success, well, he writing, he only report. I also met, we cutting off there, be careful, right? I also met with Mr. Wal Sawan, CEO of Shell PLC, Ms. Zoe Yuknovich, Shell Integrated Gas and Upstream Director, and other executives of Shell. Discussions surrounded the achieving of the 30-year license from Venezuela for the Dragon gas field, Manatee, and other projects that Shell would like to pursue with Trinidad and Tobago. Do you hear any other ministers of government meeting with CEOs and goods providers? Is that normal? Is that best practice? Does that promote corporate governance and limit the opportunities for corruption? Or is that just not on? I'm asking all of you who know, because all of you who studied, who understand political science, who understand governance, who understand finance, who understand business, who understand procurement, who understand project management, who understand tendering, who understand the law. That is the most ludicrous thing, and it's continuing. And you allow the PNM to make that normal. And then these kind of clowns attack citizens and call other people thief. And then when you see that now, thirsty for money, his boss, who K-Pax, he does be licking clean on the golf course, even when it's sweaty, he does lick it clean. Come to Mako your money, listen to Rowley, and understand and ask yourself, what is he talking about? What is this Prime Minister talking? How is he getting access to people's private bank account information? Run it.
There are many in this country whose accounts are in surplus. It's the observation of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, who believes these idle resources can be put to better use for the benefit of all.
Even as the Minister of Finance is telling you that the overdraft is up to 80% and 90%, there are people in this country with significant cash reserves in the banks of this country. Money sitting in the bank belonging to A, B, C, or D is not helping us. But if that money is put to work on projects, it creates a multiplier effect and is put to work. Doesn't matter who owns it. It is not only the government that owns money in this country. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take a guess here, because I haven't read the documents on that for a little while. I'm sure the private sector owns much more money in this country than the government. And many of them make significant profits every year. And you ask yourself, really, what do they do with those profits?
Wow. Landgate, Teacher Gate, Pum Pum Gate, Greenvale Gate, Las Alturas Gate, Ministry of Housing Gate, Renaissance Gate, Email Gate, Police Service Commission Gate, Brent Thomas Gate, Nelson Gate, Delcy Gate, COVID Gate, Hostel and Incat Gate, Bridgman's Gate. That clown is watching all your money and knows every cent and everything. How he knows that? But you all vote for that fool. You all vote for that miscreant. You all vote for that low character scumbucket. And Rowley say he ready to lose election to tax you. You have that from in the parliament?
Intelligent debate in the parliament will do a lot to educate the population and change their behavior, because a lot of people take positions based on what you all say, not knowing that you have misled them for political purposes. We are not afraid of being voted out for having done the right thing for this country. And I make no bones about that, Madam Speaker, because we believe that as we do the right thing for this country, enough people will see that we've done the right thing for this country and will make sure we stay in country. That's why we differ. They believe they have to pander to every nonsense. And then the country becomes a place of dotishness. You all should be ashamed of yourself, Madam Speaker. I say no more on this. The PMM will support this.
The country becomes a place of dotishness. He in 2009, when Patrick Manning initially wanted to come in the property tax, went on Hansard and said that is nonsense, you're suffering the people, and $100 a year is too much to suffer the people, they cannot afford it. Now he's saying that things are worse now. Every index, every economic index is worse now. Poverty rate higher, unemployment higher, inflation higher, value of your dollar lower, foreign exchange crisis, and that dishonest pathological liar called Keith Rowley coming to tax you and take because he want more money to spend. The man who says recusals are normal. So if a minister wants to get something or has a building to rent or a contract to get, he just steps out of the room and his colleagues will just approve it for him and they enrich themselves. But once he steps out of the room, it's okay. That's what that's who you all vote for. And then he's talking about all of you are dotish. So you are dotish because you find people stand up on a curb valuating your property. You gain 3 different valuation. Your sister who don't name not on the property gain valuation. You get it. Archie put up the other man, a little old man with a little wooden house. Them telling the man he could rent a house for $96,000. I think they have a picture there all across. Look at this poor fella. My boy house look like it was built in 1953. Wood, No burglar proofing, nothing galvanized. Them say that this gentleman could rent that house for 96,000 a year and start to calculate for this poor man to go. Let me tell you something. Rowley say he put his bucket down on property tax and he ready to lose election. Well, let we help him. Let all of us help him throughout Trinidad and Tobago, from every nook and cranny. People who normally don't vote, come out and vote. People who made a mistake and vote for that fool, that pathological liar, that greedy idiot, come out and vote him out. He want to exit, let us open the door, push him through and close back the door, because it's starting in St. Joseph, because the excitement, the energy of St. Joseph is palpable. Feel it. Watch
St.
this.
Joseph, your UNC representatives are in your community.
Impressed.
Why?
The way that you talking, boy, you be talking like if you, I don't know if you don't be like you're reading from not your brain, your memory. But boy, I'll be impressed. I'll be so impressed.
Thank you, my brother. Bless you.
You is one of the better ones. You know, even Rudal Munilal, that had to admire when you're talking and talking, you're doing well.
Thank you, my brother. And with your support, we go deal
Oh,
with
you're
it.
going?
You good?
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Yes,
man, you like the family.
I like to hear talk, you're good.
Thank you, my brother.
You're the only man to lick up the team, man. You see, sure, partner. Yes.
Good afternoon. At least since 1988. How you going? You good?
Now tell them I made we put the right candidate here now.
If you lose, they still win. That's how them go.
That's how they go.
Not the business.
They have it with the EBC, you know the thing. Yes. But here what? We understand that you're correct. But you see all the cheating, God don't sleep. And we go beat them bad with people's support, no matter how much you gerrymander. Right?
And Rowley is worse. Rowley is keeping the African people domesticated. And they wasn't planning for the people. They was planning how to pull down Kamla in order to build the economic empire.
But we will handle it, we understand that.
Right.
But with good policies, with intelligent people, with passion, we go handle it. HDC house?
Yes.
Well, girl.
I see you, I know.
Well, no.
18 years
Well,
old.
girl, let me tell you, HDC house is the hardest thing for people to get in God Greener. The PNM in 8 years have not built any. When we was there, Munilal and Jillian John was billing 6,000 per year. So at that rate, 8 6s are 48, they would have 50,000 more house, but the PNM come in and they may build nothing. So it had 200,000 people waiting for 3,000 house. Do the maths, that real hard. But God bless, get rid of them people and maybe you work hard, Kamla just keep down prices, no VAT on food, hardware prices come down, you might be able to get your land and build your own house too. So right? So you vote Kamla and UNC and then we go handle the policies, right? You know, always the young people, we had to ask all to come out when the time come. Eh? Good afternoon, sir. When in opposition, you can't get as much done, but...
Don't mention that with opposition.
Good. I like how you see how you talk? Go in. You all right? Anil, Mr. Roberts. Oh,
all right.
Good afternoon. You good?
Yeah.
Don't worry. See, you get your property taxing from them?
No.
Good. Because when Kamla come, door, that's stupidness. You see, wickedness. You understand?
Hey,
right? They're trying to punish people for working hard and being successful. The amount of tax everybody don't pay.
Everybody pays
right?
taxes.
Because they feel it's just borrow and tax.
Yeah.
Kamla diversify, create different revenue streams and move forward. All right? So that we don't have to tax people and harass people.
5 months now.
For 5 months, what work you was doing before?
Fit camping.
And you ain't get no contract, no work. Everything's slow. That is what has happened when they don't run the economy properly. So pressure.
But we go handle that with your support. We go change it. You see, you have to have a government that understands investment and creating jobs. 6,000 small business shut down, you know.
That will take too long.
It go take long, boy.
Take too long. Time running out on me.
Well, now you stay strong, right?
Nice to meet you as well.
How are you, young boy?
But looking at you and giving you the thumbs up.
Thank you, Sita.
Them up.
Yes, bring out everybody. Right, fed up. Small man, you finish your homework?
You know,
Oh, not much homework this weekend.
My grandson Javier.
Right, Javier, good name, boy.
Good to see you guys.
Nice man.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Bye bye.
Join our weekly walkabout, network and walk with your counselor, coordinator, and the UNC team. For more information, call 758-6828.
And as I tell them, Rowley want to tax you, that's all Rowley want to do. But here what Kamala go do, run it. Oh, you're up there, you don't have that one? All right, but let me go to this one. Rowley say most of those against tax have property abroad. All the people and the thousands of people I talk to, all they have is a house here, and they have no money, the job, they're struggling. Because they have to pay for gas in the car that Rowley take away. They have to buy books that they take away from Tim Gopi Singh's school book grant. They have to buy laptop that Rowley take away laptop. They have to buy more food because Rowley cut school feeding. They have to pay for university because Rowley cut Fazal Karim Gate in half. But you know what? You know who have property in the States? Or they would never believe. Show it now. Show the image.
Nobody likes to pay tax. But if that is the basis on which we will change the government and put it in the hands of...
I don't want to hear he again. I'm fed up of he and the show gone long. Show the little image of Rowley's Integrity in Public Life Act form, if you have it. But it's all over the social media. Rowley, you have a timeshare in Las Vegas and you talking about people who have property in the USA. Citizens down here work hard to fix up the house, and you come in to suffer them with property tax so you could take the money for more recusals in your cabinet. But let me just read something for y'all. Motley spares Bajans from new taxes in budget. Prime Minister Mia Motley on Monday said there will be no new taxes in 2024 in the national budget that she presented to Parliament, indicating although there will be a review of the tax structures and increasing access to financing for the private and public sectors, she will not increase any tax on citizens. That is a Caribbean neighbor. No oil, no gas, but they have no PNM in Barbados. They have no Rowley in Barbados. They have no Stuart Smallpin Dunce in Barbados. And that's why they can move and get benefits without people digging in their pocket. But you chose that. When you vote for Rowley, you vote for him to put his hand in your pocket. Or you vote for Kamala, so Rowley and Smallpin hand will come out of your pocket. What you want the hand inside your pocket for? Too close for comfort, says Rowley. I ended the show with this because this is the greatest thing I have ever heard. Rowley is the Prime Minister. Rowley is the head of the National Security Council. The SSA is controlled and given direction by the National Security Council and the Political Directorate. So much so, the Strategic Services Agency, which is a spy agency, when Gary Griffith was there, for example, and the government gave him money and they bought spyware, he put half in the TTPS and half in the SSA so that neither one could just spy on citizens without proper paperwork, authority, court order, and so on. And that the TTPS, independent, well, now it's not because it's PNM, but how it's supposed to be in theory, would also be a check and balance so no politician could control the invasive spyware to spy on citizens. When Rowley whispered in Paula May's ears and got Paula May Weeks to breach the Constitution, Section 123(4), and called Bliss C. Prasad to act on her own volition and withdraw the merit list, which allowed Rowley to hand select his Commissioner of Police, DCP Jacob. Jacob took the portion, the half from the TTPS, and gave it to the political directorate, to the SSA. So the politicians, the National Security Council, Rowley, had total control of this. Now Rowley says that he controls. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said, he alluded to the possibility that the recent Strategic Services Agency shakeup may have come because it had been overrun by the criminal element. We have been dealing with the state's contribution to that problem, where the state authority in position of trust has surreptitiously broken down, and the calypso that we listen to, who is going to guard the guards, became the most pertinent question in Trinidad and Tobago, because the state agencies had become one with the criminal agencies. Who is going to guard the guard? You are the guard of the guards. You are the you are the Prime Minister. You are the head of the National Security Council. You appoint the National Security Minister. You are in control and give direction and policy, strategy, arrangements and reporting of the Strategic Services Agency. You are the guard who is supposed to guard the guards, and the guards have criminal in it. Therefore, you are responsible. What should have followed your stupid statement is, I hereby resign because I'm a complete failure as crime decimates the country. And then the Guardian says, the editorial, who will guard the guards? The admission by the Prime Minister does nothing to calm the fears of law-abiding citizens who are desperately hoping. Now I would like to read, I bet you the Guardian is going to try to take Rowley's foot out his mouth, to take Rowley out of this position that he found himself in, because he is in charge of the SSA. If the SSA has been usurped and taken over by criminals, it is under his watch. Therefore, he is responsible. And when you are responsible and you fail, you must resign and call an election. It's very simple. So let's see how a journalist, how a newspaper, this editorial, let's see how they're going to wind back and wiggle Rowley out of that simple position that all of you accept, okay? The admission by the Prime Minister does nothing to calm the fears of law-abiding citizens who are desperately hoping and praying for an end to the recent surge in violent crimes. Indeed, quite apart from taking comfort in Dr. Rowley's words, as a nation, we should feel very unnerved, since the Prime Minister's public utterances seem to imply that sensitive and classified information has been compromised, which could ultimately endanger national security and undermine the smooth functioning of the state. Well, from that, Rowley must go. Specifically, as it relates to the SSA, it is our fervent hope that the situation is not beyond repair. But you've just stated that it's beyond repair. It is beyond repair, and Rowley must go. This unfortunate situation, criminal elements controlling the nation's national security apparatus and spyware, is an unfortunate situation. That may be a bit of an understatement, Guardian of Rowley's capax. Until then, we are left, like the Prime Minister, to wonder aloud, who will guard the guards? You, the newspaper, left like the Prime Minister to wonder who will guard the guards, when it is the Prime Minister who's supposed to be guarding the guards, the Prime Minister who is in charge, the Prime Minister and the National Security Council, the Prime Minister and the Minister of National Security who are responsible for guarding the guards. You, Guardian, are wondering, like the Prime Minister, who going to guard the guards? All you don't buy this nonsense. When you read this, you could get dotish very quick. Guardian, you all are sick. That's why you would hire Asha Javid, a woman who have a judgment saying she dishonest. Overall, this is the conclusion. This is a coup de grace. I was waiting for this. You all listen to this and then understand. Don't let these people warp your minds. Stay true to truth and get ready to vote. Rowley is the worst thing. Forget politics. Rowley is the worst human being to ever be seen on TV in Trinidad and Tobago. Overall, it is a sad state of affairs, says the Guardian, to be in. But Dr. Rowley must take the lead. As head of the National Security Council, in attempting to salvage the situation and placing the focus where it should be, eradicating the criminal element. So the Guardian now, after 8.5 years of Rowley take the spyware and the SSA and hand it over to criminals. Criminals infiltrated, Rowley say. Criminals taking and controlling the spy services of national security. Criminals running national security. The Guardian says, Rowley must take the lead now in trying to solve the problem that he created. Well, I reach. Guardian fire burn you. That's why nobody watching you, nobody listening to you. To all your citizens, a vote is a choice. When you make a choice, you make a choice for your child to take SEA, you make a choice of first choice. Why? You want the best teachers, the best principal, the best sport, the best curriculum. You want all-round achievement. That's how you choose. If you want go take your children for a meal after the SEA, you choose somewhere where the chef is good, the food is good, the prices are good, the ambience is nice, where they will have fun, maybe a little arcade and so on. You make choices for your benefit. How can you choose to vote PNM for oppression, for tax, for wickedness, for crime, for criminality to take over the SSA, for corruption, for squandermania, for arrogance, for no policy, for no plan, for sufferation, for decimation of our culture and who we are? How could you choose PNM? That's an impossibility. Vote Kamala, vote UNC. Good night.